Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Adam Shubb. Welcome you to this live edition of the Victory 2004 rally here at Bangor International Airport on behalf of ABC 7 and Fox 22. As you can kind of gather behind me, the rally has already started. Peter Chinquette, who is the chairman of Bush Cheney 04, will be introducing the president in just a few moments. Good evening, Jan. You know, despite this bill, which is hard to imagine doesn't target Capital 7, who doesn't even have a harness racing license anyway, it's moving ahead as if neither poses a legitimate obstacle. The fact that there aren't any locks on any of the doors makes it even easier for a drug deal to go down. Anybody who doesn't even live here can come and go as they please. President Bush looks for foreign support for his plan to transfer power in Iraq. From start to finish, it takes about a month or so, or 275 man-hours to complete work on one vehicle. If convicted, Gihas faces a maximum term of 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. But of the 35 delegates from Maine, 6 of those will not be voting for John Kerry. They're going to be voting for Dennis Kucinich.
Kate, the update is everybody's leaving.
We're about the last 2 people here, Kate. That's pretty much about the update.
Yeah.
Live from Studio B in the world headquarters of Fox News, Shepard Smith.
From the Fox studios in New York to a rooftop balcony in Boston.
On Studio B at FNC from the DNC. Hang on.
Fox News, the cable giant broadcasting live 8 hours a day during convention week. Here they transformed 2 lavish suites at the Boston Harbor Hotel into a makeshift newsroom. Millions of dollars, months of preparations.
We have a backup plan for every primary plan. You know, if it were to start raining now, New York would take over for 2 or 3 minutes. We'd move into a studio with a picture window overlooking Boston. We have people on standby in New York. There are people on standby at the Fleet Center.
It's at the Fleet where many journalists get their information, but that's not how Fox and top anchor Shepard Smith view it.
The Democrats are putting on a cheerleading fest, and that's what they're supposed to do. But that's not news, that's an infomercial. Our job is to balance it all. If the Democrats are saying things that aren't true, somebody has to call them on it.
Smith started at Fox before they launched the network back in 1996. In that time, they've gone from 35 to more than 1,000 employees and seen a convention ratings jump of 400%. Smith, however, admits that their fair and balanced approach has created some controversy.
It's a very difficult line, especially when you're an organization which has a lot of focus on it right now because some people have decided that they want to take us down. That's what happens when you get to be number 1.
Right now, Shep is in the middle of taping Studio B, which runs from 3 to 4 o'clock on the Fox News channel. Then, in a matter of hours, crews will break down the set and move it to this side of the balcony for the Fox Report at 7 o'clock.
Thank you both, greatly appreciate it. We're just getting new information now about what is the big moment of the night tonight for the Democrats.
Being on the road has its perks, like a relaxed dress code, but the work doesn't end when this mobile studio goes dark.
The biggest challenge is the day doesn't stop at 8 o'clock. These parties that happen at night when people get the drink on, that's when they'll tell you what's really going on, and you have to be there to hear that. So this day doesn't end at 8 o'clock when the lights go off. The day ends about 3 in the morning, and then you have to do it again the next day. That's challenging. It's fun, but it's challenging.
Chicago investment banker Zubair Ghias seen here in handcuffs last night being escorted for questioning by the FBI. This after a media outlet in Chicago tipped off federal authorities a bomb could be aboard the Moroccan jetliner leaving from JFK. Ghias apparently used another passenger's cell phone to contact his wife before boarding the plane.
He basically told his family that he was forced onto the plane by some Arabic people.
The Boeing 767 landed in Bangor shortly after 11 o'clock, and authorities quickly identified Ghias as the man from Chicago reported missing by his wife Saturday. Authorities brought Ghias here into the ground floor of the International Arrivals building, where he underwent questioning all night behind closed doors before leaving Bangor early this morning. Meanwhile, upstairs, American troops en route to Iraq wait through a delay while authorities piece together what happened. At roughly 3:30 a.m., TSA officers rescreen the 81 passengers and 10 crew members. Can you guys tell me what happened?
We don't know.
A short time later, the FBI determined resuming the flight presents no safety risks, and it takes off, continuing to Casablanca. A domestic dispute between Ghias and his pregnant wife now appear to be the root cause of the incident. Exactly why he fled Chicago is still unclear. One of the biggest cocaine busts in Maine history, and tonight the suspect remains on the run. Maine State Police are searching for 25-year-old Jason Belmer of Corinna. He's wanted in connection with the discovery of 8 pounds of cocaine in Corinna. Belmer is no stranger to police. Back in 1999, he made a highly publicized escape from Newport District Court. Belmer had served his time and was out of prison when on Thursday, officials with the Maine Drug Enforcement Agency say that they found cocaine buried in the backyard of a home that belongs to Belmer's grandmother. That's on the Greenbush Road in Corinna. Authorities say when Belmer spotted police, he took off into the woods. Tonight, he remains on the loose and is wanted on a felony charge of aggravated trafficking of cocaine. Police say this is one of the biggest cocaine busts ever in the state of Maine. The amount they seized has a street value of more than $380,000. If convicted, Belmer faces up to 40 years in prison. If you have any information on the whereabouts of 25-year-old Jason Belmer of Corinna, you're asked to please contact the state police. That number is 1-800-432-7381. Edward Cross, a student at Old Town High School, drowned in the Merrimack River in New Hampshire on Friday. Police say Friday night a group of teens were having a riverside drinking party and were jumping into the water when one of the teens noticed that Cross was missing. Police found his body in the river Saturday. Family and friends knew him as Eddie. Cross was in New Hampshire visiting his father. Family members are also setting up a memorial fund and hope to have services in Maine in a couple of weeks' time. As Narraguegas High School in Harrington prepares to begin a new school year next week, teachers and students continue to mourn the loss of 17-year-old Crystal Higgins of Columbia. Friends reported Higgins missing 2 weeks ago. A week later, police found her car and her body in the Pleasant River in Addison. The community had launched a massive search effort to find her. Saturday, that support continued with more than 400 people gathering for a funeral and reception. Higgins' father is serving time at the correctional facility in Machiasport, but the prison did let him out on Saturday to spend time with family. A busy night for emergency crews in the area as they responded to a hazardous materials scare at an industrial park in Herman. The Penobscot County Sheriff's Department and fire crews from Herman, Carmel, and Levant responded to Central Maine Transport in the Freedom Industrial Park earlier tonight. When they arrived, smoke was pouring out of a tractor-trailer truck. Worried it could be leaking hazardous materials, they took every precaution. Turns out it was just a smoke bomb, something drivers often let off in the back of their cabs to make sure they're airtight. Now for a first look at the forecast, we're joined by meteorologist Jim Kozik and tonight's weather headlines. Jim.